Kara, Trump and social media. First of all, this sounds really bad for Parler, right? Because what are they even there for anymore if Trump comes out with his own platform? And then I wonder, what cloud platform are they building this on, if any, and what are the terms of service going to look like?
Well, I think it's interesting. It's interesting that he's trying to replicate his success somewhere else, and I'm worried a little bit about the business, I have to say, John. I have a feeling that it's going to be much harder to build a social network than he imagines. One of the great parts about Twitter for him is everybody was there, the media, his supporters, his detractors, and so there's a lot of activity, and it's very hard to create that in a single platform. And Parler, it wouldn't be so bad to go to Parler, I guess, and try to reinvigorate that, because that got hit hard because of the Capitol attacks. But creating his own from scratch, I say good luck to him. And he'll have a new appreciation for Section 230, I think.
But, well, isn't it also, though, where the entire GOP is going to want to be raising money? I mean, because nobody has risen kind of in a post-Donald Trump way, is being able to draw the attention and seemingly the loyalty of the party's base the way he has. So maybe advertising isn't really necessary, and maybe they'll be able to afford to buy some data center space.
I think it's just hard to build a social media company in this environment. Again, he'll both have a new appreciation for Section 230 and the protections it will afford him. And then secondly, he'll have a new appreciation for how powerful other social media companies are, like Facebook and Twitter and others. And maybe he'll start to talk about their power again. I just think it's almost impossible to create a new social network with one group of people. And you're not going to have, his detractors run there, and you're not going to have the media run there and participate in it on a daily basis. Everybody thought Twitter was going to, decline once Trump was kicked off the platform, and the stock's gone up, $25 since then. So I just feel like you have to have everybody in the same place at one time to be successful. And it'll be like a press release, essentially, is what I can see. And you've got to get everybody there that is debating everything. And that's the sort of fun that Twitter has when it's in a good part. And when it's negative, it's sort of part of the Coliseum-like feeling that you have there when he's present. But he's not going to be present anymore.
Kara, is it possible to actually build a social media company without the support of big tech? I mean, we saw what happened, to your point earlier, with Parler after the January 6th Capitol riots, where, Apple, Google, Amazon all booted it from their platforms. Without the support of at least those three, is it even possible to build a social media site?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh, they could do all kinds of stuff. There's all kinds of companies that supported some other companies. So that's not the issue. It's just a question of money. It's just that where does this money go and what's the point of it? And can you get a group of people there excited about being there on a daily basis and creating a social network? It's much harder. And then that's why, it's so difficult to dislodge these leaders. Is because they've created networks, and it's very hard. And then once Donald Trump goes away, which eventually he will, does it stay that way? I don't know. I'd be better off if he went on Clubhouse and started a room there on a daily basis, or availed himself to other social networks. That's what I would do if I were him. But, I think it's going to sort of go the way of Trump Steaks or Trump University or whatever, all the different businesses. It's hard to build a business, and he does not have a great track record in being consistent around businesses and creating them and sustaining them. So we'll see.
Do you think it changes the political appetite for Section 230? You mentioned that it will give him a new appreciation for Section 230 and the role it plays. Do you think that if he does get this off the ground and running, that maybe some GOP lawmakers say, you know what, actually, we're going to back off this whole fight because clearly it's, serving Trump well here?
Well, they're not going to win the fight anyway, so it doesn't really matter. They can yammer on either side that they want to. I mean, they'd shift sides just because they don't have actual commitment to reforming it. But I think reforms of 230 are coming no matter what. And it's just this idea that you just eliminate it and you pretend that there's conservative bias on these platforms without any proof. That's just political, and it's nothing to do with the facts. And 230 needs to be reformed, as many people think so, and then there has to be tech regulation and other things. But they don't care about that. They just want to make a lot of noise. I mean, I just think all I kept thinking is, like you had at the beginning of this, is covfefe. Covfefe. Like, fine, whatever. I just don't think you can't bring the magic back to what he had on Twitter. And believe me, I called him the great troller in chief, but he cannot bring the magic back as easily as he thinks he can.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.